Hello friends, Ashton here. So today I'm going to introduce a new app script project to you. So this is not a live coding project, so I'm going to just focus on the project and I'm going to show you what is this project, and I'm going to show you how to do some change on this project so you can suit your requirement. So as you can see here, this is basically a form built with app script. And the most important features in this form is this one. So let me show you. If I click on this input, I got a signature pad. So here I can insert a signature like my name. So it's not easy to sign here, but you can do it. All right. Because if you checked my previous video, my last video, it's a similar project, but it uses a Google Form as an input. So basically, I used Google Form, but as Google Form don't have these features, so you need to upload a signature as an image, right? So here, if I click on Done, and you have a timestamp here for this signature, but you cannot see it. And if you click on it again, you have a preview, right, for this signature. So if this is what you want, and you can close it, and still here. And for other field, so we have some text field, and like email. So for the telephone, 123 123 123. And for the gender, so let's put my gender here, and I can do a submit, and I should be able to, yeah. So if everything works fine, and then you should get a successful message like this. All right, and you can close it. And at our backend, we have a Google Sheet, and if I increase the height of this cell, so you can see we have the signature here inserted into this cell, and this is the rest of field. So this timestamp and this ID field is inserted automatically by the backend, and they're not included at the front end. As you can see, we have the name, email, phone, gender are included here, and this is signature inserted by the user at the front end. So this is the most important features of this project. And I didn't save this image to the Google Drive. All right, so right now this picture or this image is inserted into this cell. So if you click right click and go to image and put image over cells, and you will see this is the image like this, so you can use it like this way. So let me put the image back to the cell. All right, so this is about this project, and maybe you need to do some customization for this form because this field are just for demo. And let me show you how to do some modification for this project, and you can make it to suit for your business requirement or your own, to make it a copy and do some small change, and you can use it for your business. All right. So to add a new field or delete a field from this form, or you want to update some field, what do we need to do? We need to do some change in the code. Okay. So it is not easy, I have to say, but if you follow my steps, you should be able to get it done. Okay, so first of all, you need to make a copy of my project, and after you make the copy of the project, and you need to go to the extensions and click on this app script, and it should show you all the source code, and we need to do some change for the source code, so you can add a new field or remove field like that. So first step, so let's say I'd like to insert another field called city, and maybe I'd like to insert a date. Let's say we add two fields. All right, so let's make a copy. So here in the backend.js file, we have a settings, and in these settings we have a headers property. So in this object, let's make a copy of this gender and make another copy. So change this gender to city and the city, and change this gender to date, and this is date. All right, so this key is going to be used at the front end, and this value is going to be the display value at in this Google Sheet, because somebody I think some of you want to use the uppercase like this. So if you want to, and you also can keep them the same value, it doesn't matter. All right, it's just if you want to, maybe you want to change this to like full name, so you don't need to change anything at the. So this change won't affect the front end. Okay, it's going to update this name to full name. All right, just for this backend stuff. All right, so that's why I have a key and the value like this. So let me change it back to name, and we have the first update is done for the backend. For the front end, we need to do here, as you can see, we have two files, and then we need to change both files. All right, so let's do the first. The first is going to be this view.js.html file. So in this file, you can find so basically an object called form at this line 23. All right, so here you can define the input field properties like this. So like this one, for the name, the label is going to be for this label, as you can see, and you have a type for the text input, and the value by default is empty, and this disabled is false. And placeholder, if you want to place any placeholder, you can add it here. All right, so this is the rules. If you want to apply some rules, make it a required field, and you can also add a regular expression to validate the value. You also can add it here. All right, so let's make a copy of this gender for the city, because the city I'd like to make it like select or drop down like that. So rename this gender to city, and this label I'd like to change it to city, and keep the type as select. Default value is empty, so let's add some city here. Let's put my city here, and New York or Tokyo or Paris. So anywhere else, Bangkok maybe. Not sure if this is correct. All right, so just add some. So this is basically this for your drop-down list. So disabled false, placeholder no placeholder is because it's a select, and this is the rules. This rule is going to make it required. Okay, so this is for the city, and I need to make a copy of this name. Okay, since I need to add another one, date, and put this label here for date, and the type I need to change it to date. Okay, this is the HTML input type. So default, you can set a default date here. All right, but I'm going to keep it empty. Okay, so this should be good. So this is about the form data update. So basically I built two objects, one is for the city and one is for the date. So this is how you insert a new field in this Vue.js file. Okay, so this is where we defined the data. Basically this is the object for the input field. All right, so after we did this change in this form data object, and we need to go to this index.html file, and we need to insert these two items to our form. Okay, so as you can see here is our form. Okay, so as you can see, we have the name here, email, phone, gender, and the signature. All right, So it depends where you want to put this item. So you make a copy of this V column. All right, make a copy of them from this V dash column to the / V dash column. So I like to say I like to insert the city after this gender. So I only need to change this gender to city. All right. So let's make a copy of this too. So change the city to date. So this city and date, which is in this form object, and as you can see, we define it here. All right. So and we can basically, this is the form structures and how you lay out your form. So if you check the form, we have the name, email, form, and gender, and the signature. So after I did this city and this date, this signature should be pushed here. All right. So if I reload this page, and here this is the dev link. Okay. So if you are in some link like exec, it won't show you the change. All right. So make sure you have this dev link, and let me refresh. If I refresh this page, as you can see, I have the city and the date inserted. So let's try to do a test to make sure it's working. And let's say Bruce Lee, maybe. Bruce Lee. So let's do a phone number. Let's do so the city, maybe New York, and you can pick a date, of course. And let's say this is Bruce. Bruce, you can say Lee, put a dot here. This is not a dot. So done, and let's submit. All right, so let's check the data. So Bruce Lee is here. All right, we have the city and date inserted as well. So I need to increase the width of this column. As you can see, this column should be removed because these columns are not aligned. You need to reorganize it. So you need to move this to here, delete this one. All right, so that means this update. I don't know. I think it's easy, but if you don't know how to code, it may be a little bit issue for you. But if you follow these steps, it should work. Okay, it should work like this. All right, and let me know if you have any questions. And maybe some other changes I'd like to show you. Okay. Okay, so after I showed you the major update, it's about basically this is most important update because you can insert or delete the field from this form. All right, so maybe some other changes you can do. So like this image and this title and this subtitle. All right, you also can do the change, and let me show you where you can do it. So for the title and the subtitle, you need to go to the Vue.js file, and at the very bottom of this file, you have a new Vue instance here, and here you can define your title and the subtitle. Okay, so it's basically defined here. All right, so you can do the change here for the title and the subtitle. So I think that's going to be very easy for you. And another title. Okay, so this title is for the front end, so it's basically for this one. Okay, and for the backend, we also have a title, as you can see here. So if you go to the backend, and here this title is actually the name of this app, so you can do the change here for the title at the backend. So it's going to be this title. It's going to be the app title. Okay, so this tab title. So this is about the titles, And about this picture, background picture, and if you have a company logo or some company background image, so you can have a link, okay, and then you can insert it here in this index.html file and this v-image, and here is the source. All right, and for me, I use this random URL to generate image. Every time it's going to be different, I think. So as you can see, every time I reload it, this URL is going to be a different random image, basically. So this is random, and of course you can put your logo here at the image, and the background image is going to do that for you. Okay, so I think let me check if anything else you can do. Okay, I think that's it for this project, and I think for everything you can do it. You can do the change very easily, like the title, the background, and you can insert or delete this. And maybe one more thing. Let's say I want to keep this signature as to tag this all these three columns. Okay, how can I do that? So that's also a very easy to do. So here for this signature, and as you can see here, what I define here. So for the small screen or extra small screen, I take 12 columns, and for small screen I also take 12, and for the medium screen I take 6. So basically it's half of the screen, and for the large I take the I think this is third, right? So if you want to take the full width, you can remove all of them, and if I reload the page, I think this signature input is going to take, as you can see here, it's going to take the full width. So this is how you can lay out your field, your form like this. So let's say I want the email take basically 6 columns. So right now it takes like 3, right? Like take 4. I'm sorry. So you can do something like, so this is the name. So it's kind of tricky. So you can do something like for the medium. So right now it takes 4. So the full width is 12. Okay. So let's say for this email, I'd like to take it to 8. And for large screen, so basically this 4 plus 8 is 12, and this 3 I should plus 9. So this equal to 12, right? To make sure this is equal to 12. So after I did that, and what it looks like. So this is, it looks like it's basically to take this full width, right? The rest of these items. So let me change it back. So you can use this to lay out your form, all right? And let me make a copy of this. And these settings make this form responsive. So if I want to change the width, as you can see here, is responsive. All right, save it and reload. Okay, so I think that's it for this video, and thank you. See you in the next one.